They registered rncrosoft.com, and a lot of people got phished because, hey, you look at that and it's like, hey, that's from Microsoft. It's like, no, it's from Microsoft.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the Microsoft Playbook. Today we're talking about modern phishing. It doesn't involve tackle or reels or bait. Probably a lot of phishing related puns. We're talking with Andy Nolan, our Director of Strategic Programs here at TrustedTech, and we're just going to kind of touch on some of the more newsworthy modern phishing attempts that have been in the news for the last few months. Andy, thanks for joining.
Absolutely. A long-time listener, first-time attendee, big fan of yours, of course. You reel me in with every word. So
oh, look at that. We should have
we're getting started early.
We should have a counter of puns in like the bottom right-hand corner.
Oh yeah, it's got it. We need it. Real bad.
I love it. So amongst like the CEO gift card texts and login reset emails and now even AI tailoring phishing attempts with deepfake videos, which are crazy. I know that you've got some interesting stories throughout your, 15 plus years in the biz, in IT, and various engineering roles. One of the best ones that you told me recently was in the adult entertainment industry. Talk a little bit about that, how the fish came in and what the situation was, and try to keep it, PG-13 maybe?
It's funny because it just goes to show like industry doesn't really matter. The attack vectors are all the same. These guys, they got a pretty straightforward like security related email from their bank of all things. And this was just a regular, I believe they were in like AR or something like that, accounts receivable. They just got an email, update your security settings. You got to do it like a password reset. And they fell for it, hook, line, and sinker. Sorry.
Oh, that's two. Nicely done.
It's getting there. Now, interestingly enough, this person didn't have any crazy admin access. As I mentioned, they're just in accounts receivable. They were just a regular user. But after this initial foothold was established, they clicked the link, logged into whatever site they needed to log into, downloaded a PDF. And so they actually downloaded something, executed it on their machine, realized maybe this wasn't what they was the right thing, but they didn't say anything and they continued about their day. Now, obviously a finance person doing that, having access to finance data, that's of concern to begin with, right? But this particular org had very limited perimeter and internal security for their network, and they, being in the adult entertainment industry, they had a lot of sensitive data there that was stored on-prem in their servers.
What kind of sensitive data are we talking about? Give me a little bit more juice here, man.
Trying to think of the right puns here, but they're not coming to me right now. But we're talking very intimate body part data, pictures, that sort of thing. The purchasing of things, they were a manufacturer, so their ERP data was all on premises as well. So you've got customer information.
You can say sex toys, man. You can just say sex toys. It's fine.
Okay, sex toys. They had them.
They had individually identifiable information, or PII, related to their customer base, specific to sex toys and sex toy purchases. That was then potentially out in the wild. It's like another Ashley Madison.
That was exactly the severity of the event, without a doubt. And there was really very little hope of containing that without some extraordinary measures. Some of the stuff can't go all the way into, but again, I can just kind of dangle a little bit of that line and
that's
and
three.
reel.
That's
yeah,
three.
a little bit of bait, of course. But this was such a severe cascading event that started from something extremely innocuous as just a phishing email, the sort of thing you probably see every day, right? You click this thing and it's being able to have something as large as an Ashley Madison level scandal go take effect because of that just shows the absolute like crazy risk that exists there, and how preventable it was.
How deep did these bad actors get into this company?
In the official root cause analysis and after action report that I wrote, I believe I used the words full and deep penetration into the network.
Jesus.
It truly was like that bad. They covered every possible piece of sensitive data in that org, the whole thing, and they had them over a barrel, and they couldn't do anything about it.
Gosh, that's terrible. That's terrifying. Well, let's do the Microsoft bit. How would Defender have negated that? What does Defender offer that would have ensured that Finance Bro didn't click the wrong link and enter the wrong information?
Finance Bro would have clicked that link. Well, hopefully, all the heuristics detection wouldn't have let that email show up in the first place. But you can't prevent all of these things. But in the event that it did show up, clicking that link would have rewritten to the Defender URL detonation. So it takes that payload, the PDF that would have downloaded, and it runs it in a sandboxed environment. Realizes that actually, while this is a PDF, there might be something else in there, or is doing some sketchy stuff, reaching out to whatever command and control server, and it would have flagged that and been like, this is not good. You can't do it. Try again later. And while it would have saved that org from a lot of pain of rebuilding and all the other things that kind of go along with that, it also would have deprived me of the very unique experience and stories that I gained. So
a little bit of this. Yeah, a little bit of the give, a little bit of the take.
Exactly.
But it's good to know that Defender alone can save the adult sex toy industry, which, as we know, is hurting.
Is near and dear and critical to this nation.
That's right. Okay, so we've talked about sort of a phish that has come in through an email link. Let's talk about the physical one. I know that there was an interesting story in the last couple of years related to Iran's uranium development and nuclear efforts.
Yes.
Talk a little bit about the lost and found jump drive in the parking lot.
That is wild to me. It's really kind of perfect, right? Because humans like to collect things. You walk along the street, you see $5 on the ground, you see a nice shiny flash drive. If there's nobody around, the universal law of finders keepers kicks in, I think. And so the natural desire is to pick this thing up. And, depending on what was written on it, like state secrets or just, movies or sex toys, who knows, right? You go take that, you plug that into your computer, you want to see what's on there. And that was the delivery mechanism for the Iran centrifuge attack, and it had very specially crafted malware on there that was meant to target those specific systems. And once it was in there, it did its job, and obfuscated some cameras and set some centrifuges to say that they were A-OK, but they were spinning out of control and getting destroyed. And it's really crazy to think of how, from a security perspective, you can't get somebody to not pick up a USB stick and plug it in. You can't, people grab stuff all the time, and so having a security layer there, having a mechanism to prevent against that is really difficult. And yet, Defender, I think, would have something that would solve a lot of these problems, at least.
Tell me more.
Absolutely.
Me more. Give me the Defender application here on this spyware related incident.
If only the Ayatollah had listened to us, we could have prevented all of this. So Defender, thick client installed on Windows. There's the general antivirus stuff, but there are a whole host of things that can come into play. Policies that will prevent USB auto execution. Heck, policies that if you're in a super secret state-run facility, maybe you don't want the USB ports to even work. Stuff like that. You plug it in, it doesn't do anything. But again, anything that's going to be monitoring your executables on a machine, the network traffic, like, hey, this person, I mean, all of these things are going to be so like related. Go back to like the finance bro. You plug a thing in, or you run a program on your computer, Defender running locally. Why are we sending traffic to XYZ machines on the network? Why are we doing any of the things that we're doing that are outside of the normal? You know, whether it's like anomaly detection, or whether it's like specific ports or behaviors or the heuristic stuff where it's like we're scanning a bunch of things, we're looking for a bunch of stuff, things that are out of the norm. Having that in your arsenal as part of your full suite of like protection from Defender, that would have saved them a lot of trouble. Would have enriched some uranium a little faster had they not had those centrifuges messed up.
All right, let's leave the politics in the rearview mirror and move on to the next one. Recently saw in the news that there was a bad actor who had essentially switched out the Microsoft M in the URL and put an RN in there instead.
Yeah, that one is wild to me because, like, depending on like your like what kind of screen you have, like if you're on your phone, if you're not really paying that much attention, an R lowercase with an N next to it kind of looks like an M, and that's exactly what they did. They registered rncrosoft.com, and a lot of people got phished. A lot of people got phished because, you know, hey, you look at that and it's like, hey, that's from Microsoft. Like, it's like, no, it's from Microsoft, but you know, who's to say in the moment? Yeah, you're right. This is and this is one that is particularly scary because obviously Microsoft apt target. You know, a lot of folks are going to be using Microsoft, so you got a wide target area. But if you think like anybody who is unfortunate enough to have M, the letter M in their company name, is potentially a target for this sort of behavior, because it is anybody can go buy a domain name, $8, $9, something like that. Very, very easy to get started, and of course with the examples that we've had, is very devastating when someone falls afoul of it. And this one, I don't even think the actual sort of total damages has even been able to actually be quantified yet, because the bad actor, like, it was pretty widespread with all of this. And so, yeah, I think we'll be hearing about that for a couple more months before we get like the full outlay of damages. But that one, insane. And believe it or not, I swear this is like fish in a barrel or something. Super easy. Defender can solve this one as well. This one, so Defender, URL defense. We have the payload thing. You click a link, takes the payload, checks it out, so on. The other layer of that, before it even gets to your inbox, there is URL like verification, domain lookups. If you're getting an email from a domain that was registered a day ago or a week ago, heck, even a couple of months ago, a year ago, this is stuff that, as an organization admin, you can set your requirements, like what your thresholds are, but it's going to be looking at those sorts of things. So this Microsoft deal, this was a fairly like recent registration. They hadn't been sitting on it for a long time. They realized, hey, what a good idea this was, and so they did it and then acted on it pretty fast. In those scenarios, out of the box, Defender would be like, yo, you're no chance. Like, this URL is sketchy. It was just registered. Like, verify who this is coming from, because, you know, you get an email from Microsoft and it says this domain was registered like a couple of weeks ago. Microsoft's been around for a while. That domain has been registered since like the very, very early 90s, if not earlier. So that's not really a likely scenario here, right? And that layered with things, it checks like the domain reputation score. Is there actual any content there, or is it a weird landing page? What are the registration servers, the registrar? You know, it's just sort of like a full scope of like, does this follow regular conventions of like a company that you would be doing business with, or just a company that would be doing business in general, versus, you know, like a domain that's just been registered for malicious purposes with no real content, no real backing behind it. That's really the main sort of meat of what it does there. Having like dashes or like Microsoft dash something else was like very common, but this was surprising because it was the first sort of time that we've seen at like a large scale such a novel approach to kind of, you know, just tweaking some letters, making things look a little different, and it was pretty effective.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, another way that Defender could have assisted in even the helping the sort of brand equity of the mothership in this case. So 3 great examples, man. Much appreciated. Great stories. Ways that Defender could protect the adult sex toy industry, which obviously very important. Plutonium enrichment globally.
Also
and
critical.
Microsoft's reputation themselves, I guess, in some ways. Tell me what TrustedTech offers in this space. I know that we have a cloud security envisioning workshop. Tell me a little bit about, you know, what that offers.
Absolutely. So we've got a lot of really skilled folks on staff that you get a chance to like interact with and work with deeply on like taking a look at your environment, identifying like what those security threats are, uncovering any of the critical vulnerabilities that you're going to have in your environment, being able to work with you hand in hand to get a full picture of your security landscape, where those gaps are, and then how we can fill those gaps with Defender and anything else that is going to be necessary that we have in the Microsoft portfolio of things to be able to just basically make your business that much safer, make everything just a little bit more protected, save yourself from finance bro or from, you know, nation state or from rando like domain swapperoos. That's pretty much the kind of coverage that we want to be able to provide everybody.
Nice. Well, thank you so much for the discussion, Andy. Much appreciated.
Absolutely. Always a pleasure, Tipper.
And thank you, everyone. We'll see you next time on Microsoft Playbook.